What is going on, guys? It's the Gemmy Fan here on Gemmy Master Animatronics, and what I finally have here to show you is the Gemmy animated prototype crawling brain. Now, this one did come from a guy named Bobby. This is not mine, obviously. It's Donovan's. He sent it to me or brought it over here for repair, and it was basically a success. The problems with it is that there was a wire, and there was a motor wire and a speaker wire off the actual sound chip itself. Now, keep in mind that the sound chip and all the rest of the boards are all separate. So there's literally about 5 or 6 different little boards wrapped in masking tape in this thing. So it's all crammed. It's a terrible design, you know. It's just the way they did this. Obviously, it's just for show. It's just as an example, but still, the way they did it was like not efficient, because what happened is that I fixed that. I soldered them back onto the actual sound chip, and I mean the tabs on the sound chip wires were going to that. About 10 or 15 wires were going to that, and they were all divided up into about 5 or 6 different other circuit boards, which led to different functions of the item itself. Now this item is, I think it's motion. Yep, it's motion and sound activated. I just noticed that there's a tiny little motion sensor. I just didn't notice it when I was inside of it. Is motion and sound activated, but the thing is, what happened is that for some odd reason the sound got pretty quiet after a couple times during activation. So I don't know if anything touched or anything got shorted out, and then the motor died for the crawling mechanism. And man, let me tell you, the crawling mechanism is an absolute just mechanical nightmare. It's got, I don't even know how to explain. There's actually, as a matter of fact, yeah, I do know how to show it though. At the very end of this video, there's going to be a clip to where I was inside of it, showing you guys how the mechanism actually worked. Really hand-me-down, handmade, hand-painted looking design. It was not meant for production, clearly, and you'll be able to see that at the very end of this video. The later produced models are much more improved, much more promising. They work a lot better. There's just a lot of qualities to those that this one unfortunately didn't have. But hey, that's what prototypes are for. They're samples. They're beginner pieces. They're like, you know, a first step of something that could be improved over time. So of course that was the purpose of this item. But luckily it's made through all these years. There's also a little bit of battery corrosion in there, but I fixed that as best as I could. And it does work. It does work. The mechanism that moves the brain, or that crawls in the brain, is very noisy, but that's just how it's made. And there was also one of the, it wasn't this, and the thing is, the mechanism that makes it crawl is powered by a worm gear. It's a crazy looking mechanism, and you'll see it at the very end of this video. But there was also another gear that connected to the worm gear that was split. And somehow I actually had a spare for that, so the thing actually works really decently now. It's not very loud at all, but you'll still be able to hear it once it stops and starts growling and stuff like that. But we'll look at the detail first. It's got spots here and there where paint is missing, but obviously you would expect to see that after being stored in a storage unit for about a decade. Here's underneath. Obviously it was released. You cannot see the original signed off prototype tag, so I do not, well, obviously the date is February 8th, 2006. Animated crawling brain with mouth, so obviously this thing was definitely signed off. But as you can see, the battery compartment, the entire base of it is all hand molded and everything, and that screw holder doesn't even exist anymore. That's why there's no screw in there. The rest of them have screws. This wheel is free spinning, and so is the back one, but these two are the ones that are actually powered by the mechanism. And it runs off 3 fresh new AA batteries. It's off right now, but we will turn it on and show it to you. It's really cool to restore one of these. This one was overall a pain because the motor died in it, and the motor it takes is the kind of motor that you would see in a mini pop culture series character or Homer Simpson. It's one of those little micro motors with a micro worm gear on there. And thank God I had that worm gear, because I don't even think those, I don't even think those exist for that type of shaft, that tiny of a shaft. Because I know they make 2mm worm gears, but I think that was a 1mm shaft gear, so it was crazy. But luckily, still all intact, still works, so that's all that counts. So without further ado, let's give this a go. That's really all it does. It used to be a lot louder than this, but like I said, it went quiet over time, so I really don't know what happened there, but it's a prototype. There's really no predictions. And it doesn't crawl very fast because the wheels on these are just, there are no grips or no rubber grommets around them, so it doesn't really get traction on the floor very well. Play it 2 more times for you.